A life of true effectiveness. There's a difference between being busy and being effective. We rush from task to task, message to message, day to day, but sometimes, even when we do everything right, we still feel empty inside. Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, reminds us that true effectiveness isn't about speed. It's about direction. It's not about doing more, it's about becoming more. Covey doesn't just give productivity tricks. He gives timeless principles, habits that shape character, build trust, and bring peace to both work and life. He teaches that before you can win in public, you must first win in private, inside yourself. So today, let's walk through these 7 habits slowly. Let's understand them not just with our minds, but with our hearts. The first habit, be proactive. It means taking responsibility for your life. For your words. For your energy. For your reactions. Covey says there are 2 kinds of people in the world, reactive and proactive. Reactive people let the world control them. If it's raining, they're upset. If someone criticizes them, they shrink. If plans fail, they blame. But proactive people, they pause. They think. They choose their response consciously. Between what happens to you, and how you respond, there's a space. And in that space lies your freedom, and your power. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. A reactive person gets angry and honks. A proactive person breathes, stays calm, and moves on peacefully. That's power. The power to choose peace over impulse. Covey calls this your circle of influence. Focus on what you can control, yourself, your habits, your thoughts. And your circle of influence will grow. Focus on what you can't control, others, the weather, the past. And your circle will shrink. Being proactive doesn't mean controlling everything. It means accepting that you can always choose how to see it. Soft reflection cue. Think of one moment recently when you reacted instead of responding. What could you have chosen differently? As Covey says, you can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. It's about vision. Knowing where you're going before you start. Imagine you're climbing a tall ladder. And when you reach the top, you realize, it was leaning against the wrong wall. That's what happens when we chase goals that don't align with our values. Covey invites us to visualize our own funeral. Not as something sad, but as something clarifying. If your loved ones stood there to speak about you, what would you want them to say? That you were kind, present, loving? That you lived with purpose, not pressure. This habit teaches that all things are created twice. First in your mind, then in reality. So create clearly in your mind first. Decide your principles. Write your personal mission statement. Not a list of achievements, but a map of values. What matters most to you? When you know that, every choice becomes simpler. You stop saying yes to everything, and start saying yes only to what aligns with your end in mind. Take a moment and imagine your ideal life. What kind of person do you want to become? Start building it now. Habit 3 brings the first 2 habits to life. Put first things first. This habit is about priorities. Covey explains life through 4 quadrants: urgent and important, crises, deadlines. Not urgent but important, growth, relationships, planning. Urgent but not important, interruptions, minor requests. Not urgent and not important, distractions, scrolling. Most people live in quadrant 1 and 3. Always busy, always rushing. But truly effective people live mostly in quadrant 2. The space of calm importance. That's where meaning lives. That's where we build relationships, learn, create, and dream. Covey says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. It's easy to say, I don't have time. But the truth is, we always have time for what we value most. Soft reflection cue. Think of your typical day. How much time do you spend reacting, instead of creating? When was the last time you made time for something important, but not urgent? Like reading, reflection, or calling someone you care about. Effectiveness begins when we protect our energy, not just our schedule. Put first things first, and everything else finds its place. Habit 4 is think win-win. It's about abundance. About believing there's enough for everyone. Most people are trained to compete. To win means someone else must lose. But in truth, success isn't limited. Happiness doesn't run out. When you approach life with a win-win mindset, you look for balance. For solutions that honor both your needs and others. In relationships, this creates trust. At work, it builds collaboration. In families, it builds love. Covey says, win-win is not a technique, it's a philosophy of human interaction. It means you don't have to choose between kindness and strength. You can be both. Habit 5 might be the most human of them all: seek first to understand, then to be understood. We often listen just to reply. But Covey reminds us, true listening is an act of love. He calls it empathetic listening. It means listening without judgment, without waiting for your turn to talk. Just to understand. When you truly listen to someone, you give them what he calls psychological air. It's healing. Sometimes people don't need advice. They just need to feel seen. Think of someone in your life who needs to be heard. What would change if you simply listened, with full attention, without interruption? Covey says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. So next time someone speaks, listen to learn, not to win. That's how trust is born. Habit 6, synergize. It means creating something greater together than you could alone. In nature, synergy is everywhere. Bees and flowers help each other thrive. Trees share nutrients through roots. Water and sunlight create life. When people work together, really together, new ideas, solutions, and beauty emerge. Synergy is not about agreement. It's about valuing differences. When we combine our strengths, our weaknesses matter less. Covey says, valuing the differences is the essence of synergy, the key that unlocks creativity. Next time someone disagrees with you, don't defend. Ask, what can I learn from this perspective? That's synergy. The final habit, sharpen the saw. It means renewal. Taking care of yourself so you can keep growing. Covey says there are 4 areas to sharpen: physical, your body; rest, exercise; health; mental, learning, reading, reflecting; emotional/social, relationships, kindness, gratitude; spiritual, your connection with meaning, with nature, with peace. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't cut with a dull saw. Rest is not laziness, it's maintenance. Take time to walk, breathe, reflect, or simply be. You don't have to earn your rest. You recharge so you can give again, with energy and love. As Covey wrote, renewal is the principle and the process that empowers us to move on an upward spiral of growth. These 7 habits are more than habits. They're a way of being. They start with you, your thoughts, your choices, your focus. And they ripple out into your family, your work, your world. Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand. Synergize. Sharpen the saw. Together, they form a foundation. Not for a perfect life, but for a purposeful one. The main thing is to keep the main thing, the main thing. Maybe effectiveness isn't about doing more, but about becoming who we were meant to be, one small, conscious habit at a time. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me. Take these lessons with you. And remember, you have the power to choose how you live each day.